I have drawn great comfort from the warmth and affection of the many tributes to his life and work, from around the country, the Commonwealth, and the world.
The wife of a king is queen, but the husband of a queen is not a king? What? Why? Well, we are here to answer just that. If you have ever wondered why the United Kingdom does not have a king, stay tuned because this video is your answer. Before we talk about why UK does not have a king, let's get to know the Queen. Elizabeth Alexandra Mary, or Lilibet to close family, was born in London on 21st April 1926. Like her parents, Elizabeth was heavily involved in the war efforts during the Second World War, serving in the women's branch of the British Army known as the Auxiliary Territorial Service, training as a driver and mechanic. Elizabeth and her sister Margaret anonymously joined the crowded streets of London on V-Day to celebrate the end of war. She married her cousin Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, and they had 4 children: Charles, Anne, Andrew, and Edward. While her father George VI died, Elizabeth became Queen of 7 Commonwealth countries: the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Pakistan, and Ceylon, now known as Sri Lanka. Elizabeth's coronation in 1953 was the first to be televised, serving to increase popularity in the medium and doubling television license numbers in the UK. 2012 was also an important year for the royal family as the nation celebrated the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, her 60th year as Queen. On 9 September 2015, Elizabeth became Britain's longest-serving monarch, ruling longer than her great-great-grandmother Queen Victoria, who reigned for 63 years and 216 days. So, what about Prince Philip? When he is the husband of the Queen, why is he titled Prince and not King? The answer to this is found in the British parliamentary law, which determines who's up next for the throne, and also what title his or her spouse will have. Queen Elizabeth II's father, King George VI, had 2 children, Princess Elizabeth, who would become the Queen, and Princess Margaret. Therefore, King George VI had no son. Because of that, after he passed away, his eldest child, regardless of gender, Princess Elizabeth, succeeded him as the monarch, reigning as the Queen Regnant, a queen who reigned in her own right. In terms of succession, the law looks only to blood and not to gender. This rule makes the royal family tree sound complicated, but it's actually easily explained. In terms of the spouses of royalty, however, that law treats men and women differently. When a male in the royal bloodline marries, his wife takes whatever is the female form of his title. Thus, when Prince William married Kate Middleton and became the Duke of Cambridge, Kate became the Duchess of Cambridge. And when Prince William becomes king, Kate's title will change to match William's. And delving back a couple of generations, when Queen Elizabeth II's father, George VI, became king, his wife's title became Queen Consort, although she was usually referred to as Queen Elizabeth, having born as Angela Elizabeth Margaret, not to be confused with Queen Elizabeth I of England, the daughter of Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Queen Elizabeth held her title until George died, at which point Elizabeth II ascended to the throne and her mum became Queen Mother. When a female in the royal bloodline marries, her husband is not eligible to take the male form of the wife's title. That's why Princess Eugene's husband, Jack Brooksbank, remains Mr. Jack Brooksbank when they got married in October 2018. In keeping up with this, when Philip Mountbatten married the then Princess Elizabeth in 1947, he did not become prince. It wasn't until 1957 that Queen Elizabeth bestowed the title of the prince on Philip by issuing a letter patent.
We, and by that I mean both of us, are most grateful.
Fun fact, Philip was born a prince to both Greek and Danish royal families but renounced his right to those thrones and titles to marry Elizabeth, and presumably as an incentive to do so was designated His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh, on the eve of the wedding, a title he retained until his death in 2021. If the immediate former monarch, the late King George VI, had a son, then he would have ascended to the throne, making England have a king. However, King George VI, who reigned between December 11, 1936 and February 6, 1952, gave birth to only two daughters, named Elizabeth and Margaret. The eldest daughter Elizabeth therefore took over as the monarch and is the current ruler. So even though Elizabeth is married to Prince Philip, the law does not allow the husband to take the title of a king. Since the formation of the kingdom, there have been restrictions regarding accession to the throne, based on either religion or gender. Traditionally, a male was given preference over female. A son ascends before a daughter, and if the children are of the same gender, then the elder inherits before the younger one. However, in 2011, Prime Minister David Cameron stated that gender-based preferences was to be abolished for any child born after October 28, 2011.
No, that's right. There's agreement from the 16 states that have the Queen as their head of state that we're going to change these rules.
Another law that was abolished in the 1701 Act of Settlement, which stated that one cannot succeed the throne if he or she is married to a Catholic. But aren't these royalties Catholic themselves? Well, no, that's not the case. Contrary to the popular belief, the royal family is not Catholic. We repeat, they are not Catholic. The royals are in fact the head of the Church of England, which is a Protestant Anglican church, and they've been a part of this religion since the 16th century. Now that we know why we do not have a king in England currently, will there be one in the future? Well, since Queen Elizabeth II is a queen regnant and she's female, her husband Prince Philip couldn't take her title in the masculine form. Instead, he remained a prince and became a prince consort who is entitled to the form of address of Royal Highness. The same rule also applies to other royalties, nobilities and peers in the United Kingdom. Queen Elizabeth is currently the longest reigning British monarch, having ascended to the throne in 1952. Upon the death of the Queen, her firstborn Charles will take over the throne, as long as he does not die before his mother or abdicate his position. The second born of the Queen is a daughter named Anne. She and her descendants come after Charles and his descendants as the heir to the throne. Charles gave birth to two sons, William, who is now the second in line to accession to the throne, and George. After her death, or less likely abdication, then the UK will have a king in the form of the current heir apparent, the Prince Charles, Prince of Wales and Scotland. After him will be another king, his eldest son, His Royal Highness Prince William, Duke of Cambridge. After him will be another king, Prince George of Cambridge. George is only 6 or 7 and won't be a father for many years to come. So we have no way of knowing whether he will be followed by a king or a queen. But you know what's something we can be sure of? The fact that you can support us just with a few clicks. Subscribe to our channel, become a part of our World of Vokes family. Get on the knowledge train and help us grow. Comment down your views, share our video with fellow enthusiasts. And until we meet next, stay curious, stay awesome. World of Vokes signing off.